Hey guys, my name's Amanda, and I work with Marriage Helper as an admin for their Facebook groups. Dr. Beam and Kimberly have asked me to read a question that was submitted by one of our listeners for today's episode. We have a listener that had the following question: how do I help my unfaithful spouse who seems to be stuck in shame? My unfaithful spouse has no desire to work on the marriage. It's been 7 months since I found out about the affair. Does he have to be the one who recognizes this and wants to make a change?
So ultimately, he does have to recognize that he is feeling shame and do something to make a difference. But that doesn't mean that his wife can't also do things to help him see that he is a good and lovable person in the meantime. So her main question here is really, what can I do? Mm-hmm. What can I do at this point? Mm-hmm. We already know that if he already has a negative self-view, mm-hmm. that you need to be really careful about how you respond back to him. So anything you might say of, I can't believe you did this. How could you hurt me so much? Can't you, do you see what this has done to the kids? Why won't you come back home now? Why? Because she says he still has no desire to work on the marriage. So if you continue to pile on shame on top of what he's already feeling, mm-hmm. you're not the safe place. He's just going to disconnect further because, and I mentioned this at the intro and what we were first talking about, what helps people come out of shame is feeling accepted in spite of what they have done or in spite of even the false beliefs they have about themselves. Mm-hmm. And so that is what a wife or either a wife or a husband, but in this case, that's what this wife can do. Her real focus needs to be, how can I help him see that I still love and accept him and believe he is worthy and valuable no matter what he has done.
Yeah, but typically that's not going to be accomplished by telling him that he's worthy and valuable.
Sure.
Because of the fact that his self-image already is negative. And when you say things like that, he's going to blow it off like, you don't really mean that. You don't know, or you don't know who I really am. And so if you're going to be able to accomplish that, it's going to be based on the fact that, first of all, you are extremely honest about what you feel about what he did. Now, I know that sounds contradictory, but I've seen it so many times. If people kind of blow it off, like, I'm so sorry I did this. I know I hurt you. It's okay. I'm over it. That's not enough. It's like, no, you're not paying attention to me. I need you to know how badly I feel about what I have done. And if you just instantly forgive me and move on, then it's like I can't somehow process through this. So if I'm telling you I'm bad, I don't want you to tell me I'm good. I want you to try to understand why I think I'm bad and then help me come to realize that I'm good. Am I making that confusing? Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense to me. You're empathizing with them in what they're saying. You're not trying to fix what they're saying. So an example is if Rob was telling me, well, I feel I'm bad for all of these reasons. If I keep shutting him down as he's telling me and saying, no, you're wrong, you're good, then he's not able to self-reveal, but he's also not able to release that. Like, he needs to say it all to someone, get it out. Mm-hmm. And it's probably not going to happen all at one time, especially depending on how I would respond. But that is what's going to help him. It's cathartic. It's going to help him get it all out. And then I would be able to sit there and not say to him, it's okay, but say to him, yes, I know you did those things. And yes, it did hurt. I love you anyway.
There you go. So you acknowledge your pain.
Right.
You acknowledge how they affected you, because otherwise they don't think you understand. So be honest about what you feel, but I love you anyway. And then, if, like you said, how long do you think something like this might take? It's not going to all happen in one conversation. No. Is it going to be years, months, weeks?
Yeah, it could be any of those.
It could be. That's a lot of hope for them out there. Oh, good grief, years.
Well, for the full amount of it, it could be years. I mean,
Right.
Someone who's been stuck in shame for years or decades of their life, yeah, like it's going to take years for them to really fully come to the other side.
But you can start having results relatively quickly.
Sure. Months. I would say, maybe some short bleaks of, or glimpses of light in weeks. Yes. But really it's going to be more of months. You're talking of having a consistent conversation. And I don't mean every day you're talking about this, but you're consistently, allowing for these things to happen, allowing for the conversation to happen, and consistently maybe reaffirming them, because that person, the person who's feeling the shame, is probably going to be too much to talk about it all at one time or multiple days in a row. So think about it like therapy. That's why therapy is typically once a week, every 1 to 2 weeks. And it happens for typically, especially for things like this, 3 to 6 months. So take that as just the wife isn't a therapist, but really what the therapist does is the same thing. Listens to the person, hears them out, doesn't stop them when they're self-revealing all these hard things.
Doesn't blow off the bad,
sits with them in it, and still reaffirms on the back end the good about them. It's the same thing that Carl Rogers taught in so he was the father of really this kind of talk therapy. And his whole premise of it was there are two people in this therapist-client relationship. One of them is the person who needs fixing or needs help, and the other person is the one who is the constant, empathetic, listening ear that at the end of it reaffirms the goodness of that person. And when I was reading about this, I thought, isn't that what a good relationship should be? There's always going to be one in the two of you that needs help. And it's the role of the other person to be constant, to be empathetic, the listening ear, and then at the end of it, reaffirm the goodness of you.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is let them talk about their pain. Let them tell you how bad they feel about themselves. Listen to all that stuff. You can even tell them about your pain, but at the same time, you're showing a tremendous amount of acceptance, not in the sense of it doesn't matter because they're not going to listen to that, but in the sense of, yes, it does matter, but I love you anyway. I accept you, and we can get past this. Now, in her particular situation, she's saying, but he doesn't want to talk at all. Any suggestion for that?
The episode before this was about smart contact.
That's exactly what I was thinking. If you go find the episode that it's about smart contact that we have done together, we'll give you some ideas there about what you can do to actually get those conversations started. But here, patience is going to be the key.